Happy, happy.
Ruth Ann Clayton's with us, and she's a registered dietitian, and you have a business on the square.
Yes, we do. Nature's Way, the health food store on the square, which is
I
what
always call
people
it
usually know
Jack's.
as Jack.
You see, that's what I said. I always say I'm going to Jack's, and people are like, I spent all my money at Jack's. Yeah.
We know where Jack's is.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Well, you're up front just as much as he is,
I
aren't you?
am.
Yeah.
I stay home every once in a while, but I'm around most of the time.
But you're the smart one of the bunch in your field of
This is going to
expertise.
be where everyone hears it, correct?
Yeah. Is Jack going to hear this? Yeah.
No.
No. Okay, good.
He's the technical guy. We talked about that
That's
earlier.
right,
Yeah.
right. He can take care of the VCR and the TV and the computer.
What's the interest in diet, being a dietitian? What's the interest there? Nutrition.
You
It
mean
goes-
for me personally?
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking to some of the others about how I started at home ec in high school. You know, a good mentor, a good teacher. Went off to a small Arkansas school and then found out about dietetics and transferred to the university, and it's just gone from there.
So that's been a field of yours from high school,
Let's
I
don't
guess.
talk about how many years.
Well, from high
It's been
school.
a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Yeah,
much
but there's
so.
been a lot of changes in nutritional development.
Absolutely. I own a health food store. This is known as integrative medicine now. It used to be known as something like alternative, which you do this or you do that.
Yeah.
Now they're in the center. When I was in my internship in Dallas and in Parkland Hospital and University of Texas Medical School, there was no such thing as natural medicine integrated into regular medical
Right.
care.
It's
Now
voodoo.
there's hospital center around it.
Yeah.
So I'm very well positioned in that. It just so happened that Jack and I found this fit for myself being a dietitian and him being a businessman.
Yeah. Well, as I say, it's much more mainstream now. We're used to it was
Absolutely.
like, oh, you shop at the health food store,
Exactly.
you know? Yeah.
And
They thought
had
it
a
was seaweed and
connotation of
tofu.
being, you know, flower child and hippie and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It was not truly a business where you're providing people with what they need, education, training, that type thing.
And you have
It's evolved tremendously.
Yeah, a wonderful line of supplements, and I have to brag on the advice I've gotten down there before, because I happened to be at the hospital, UAMS with my cousin the other day having some tests, and there was a sign up that said, if you use herbal supplements, discuss these with your doctor.
Absolutely.
Because too many people, and we won't say what I was taking that one day, I came in and you went, Sandy, no! And I was like,
I know what it was. I remember.
because I went in and the guy said, oh, here, take this will help you. Sometimes people don't
Right.
realize that you really do need to talk to someone who can give you a little more
That's the
guidance
difference
than
in
just...
what we do. Plus our well-trained staff. We spend a lot. I mean, tomorrow morning we'll all be there at 7 o'clock for training. We do this tremendously. I turned away a gentleman today. I said, you've got to bring your list of medications because one little herbal thing may contradict. And we're talking people with lists this long.
Yeah.
Little sidelight, everybody should take a list of their medications, put it in their billfold, and keep it with them. You may need it in a medical emergency, but
Sure.
you can buy anything over the counter at a drugstore, and you should
and the doses
actually
too,
check.
right?
Absolutely. The dosage and exactly what they're taking.
Right.
And we spend a lot of time with that. With our retired population, we have quite a few people here. They're on a list of medications. So they need to know what they are. And we're pretty restrictive sometimes with selling things to someone if we don't know their medications.
And what's nice about that, I have a specialist that I go to for my diabetes, and I'm on a list of things from the health food store.
Yes, right.
And she makes sure that they don't contradict what I'm taking.
Exactly, and we do just the reverse with the medications with what we sell. There's a lot of drug interaction, computer programs. We have a library of books that we look up, and sometimes it's a hunt to try to find it by the names. But you just described what I talked about. It's no longer alternative, it's integrated.
Right. It's integrated.
Your doctor's not saying don't take them, but your doctor's saying let's make sure these two are working together.
And one drug I take are supplements of niacin.
Yes, right.
And she recommended that
I'm assuming
over
for your cholesterol.
right. And she well, it's just a maintenance thing, but she recommended that over a prescription medication.
Right, because some people can't take the statin drugs. They cause the muscular energy issues or liver problems. So that's usually the second one the doctor will go to.
Yeah. See, that's the knowledge that you're going to get when you come there. So good.
That's what we
but,
try to
But
do.
you're not here to talk about that today, are you?
What are we going to talk about?
Well, we can visit all day. But
Let's talk about how I don't like diets.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. I don't like diets either.
All right. The word diet just has a bad connotation, and you were absolutely correct. The last few days, I've heard it from customer after customer. I heard something today about a 17-day diet. You exercise 17 minutes, you eat a certain way 17 days. I was not judgmental, but it made me think about coming here today and what we're going to talk about. We need to get away from the word diet. And you were talking about the weight gain, and I'm having a little problem with your logic about that eating through Christmas. But anyway, The average, and the statistics do say, you don't gain 5 to 6 pounds, not the average person, from Thanksgiving to about New Year's, maybe 1 to 2 pounds. The trouble is, after the first of the year, if we don't knock that 1 to 2 pounds off year after year after year, all of a sudden we have 10, 15, 20 more pounds on us, which tends to happen with age anyway. So people make that resolution, but there's diet after diet after diet. Statistics, and I have to throw these out there because it's really interesting. People who lose weight after the first year, 66% of those have gained it back. 5 years, guess the number.
Probably 90.
You're close, 97.
90.
Wow.
Ooh.
What's that success rate of keeping that weight off? 3% of the people.
Because I always
Why?
say,
You know, Sandy.
well, those people, and I don't care if I'm remember the Atkins diet that was so popular?
Oh, yes, yes.
I tell people, I said, you can't eat like that the rest of your life.
That's called
I mean,
deprivation.
Yeah.
If you deprive yourself of any food, I mean, anybody that tried to do it to the holidays knows that it's there, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You're depriving yourself. You can't keep it up, can you? No food is bad. Everything within its amount and within reason is okay. Butter's not totally bad. Chocolate's not totally bad. But it's the amount you eat and how often you eat it that really matters. If you take any kind of a diet and you deprive yourself of a particular, let's say, well, the Atkins was
Nothing white.
no carb.
Yeah.
It was protein and fat. You cannot maintain that. Not to mention, I as a dietitian have to say that's not a healthy, nutritious diet. I'm here to say there's one way to do it. Look at yourself and don't say, I want to lose weight, I want to get into that pair of jeans, that skinny jeans, because that, if you fail, you're setting yourself up for failure and then you drop the diet. Think of yourself as more like at the first of this year, I want to be healthier. I'm going to change my eating bit by bit, or I just read the old Dean Ornish book, the Reversing Heart Disease from the 90s. I picked up a couple of them at a garage sale and I've been looking through them. And he basically, there's two thoughts. There's either, okay, do this slowly, get rid of the cake or the pie or the sugar, or his train of thought, which is what I'm trying to do right now, is clean it out. Clean that pantry out, clean out that bad stuff, stock your kitchen with good, healthy foods. And we're talking those beautiful colored things, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Breads and carbs are not bad. It's the whether it's the sweet roll or whether it's a wonderful slice of Neighbor's Mill bread that you pick up at Nature's Way. It's what you're eating that matters. But once you try to deprive yourself of a particular food, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Sure.
And we
Especially
all know
if you
that.
love
Everybody
that.
out there listening to this knows it. We've done it over and over.
Especially if you like that food.
Exactly.
well,
You deprive
sometimes it's
yourself
something
of it.
you hardly ever eat, but the minute you find out you can't have it, oh my goodness. You
Way
just-
back
yeah.
in those very early years of my being a clinical dietitian, we were in Chicago. I was up in Libertyville, the hospital. There was a very smart doctor there. He put people on a lower calorie diet. That's back when you'd say you can have 1,200 calories,
Yeah.
1,300, whatever. But he let them have one piece of dessert a week. On the weekend, you can celebrate. Now, he somehow knew if they try to deprive themselves of everything along, they're just going to set themselves up for failure. So it's healthy eating. But do it with the thought of, I want to be healthier. I'm not trying to be what I weighed when I was 20 years of age. We can't do that.
Yeah.
We're looking for health along with the healthy eating. And anybody wants to come by that doesn't know what healthy eating is, I'll be love to talk to them because the advice is free. Along with that, you've got to do something else. You've got to exercise. I know you do it.
Yeah, it's the king and a friend of mine said it's the king and queen of
Very way to put it.
exercise is the diet is king and exercise is queen, and you have to put them together.
Very well said.
Yeah, the royal circle or whatever. Yeah.
And then there's this thing about these diets that we're all trying to start. This 17-day diet, someone told me about today. They said, well, Dr. Oz is going to be talking about it, and this is that. So here comes the new one.
Yeah.
I had not heard about it. We all know them. They cycle through, and sometimes they'll come back, and people do them. But the success rate is not there. And if we would all realize that, and every time you do that yo-yo up and down, you're setting your body up for failure, and your body adjusts to this lower calorie rate. So it's harder to lose weight every time you do that.
What about stress during that time?
That's the third hurdle. First, it's going to be, the deprivation thing. You've got to get over the hurdle of exercise. Stress, I think, is probably way up there with why we're all eating. So stress sets us up for failure also. If we don't stop and find out why are we eating, we're all stressful eaters. We are. But there's other stresses in our lives, whether it's our job, our children, school, illness of an older parent, no matter what it is, If we eat out of stress, then that's just going to add on the weight. Stressful situations begin to stress out our adrenal glands. We secrete hormones that increase the insulin. That increase in insulin in our bodies helps us to store fat. A lot of us as adults know that we start to put that on in the middle, that fat. So stress, we know we're eating, but we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to find out, why am I actually eating? And then the biggest question is, if you stop and eat under stress, ask yourself a question at the end when you finish eating. Do I feel any better?
How do you feel about food diaries? That's a lot of people
Wonderful.
say that
Absolutely.
if you'll write down what you eat and then look back at it, and you're like,
you're amazed. You are absolutely amazed, because we do pick a lot at food. You mentioned about the 700 calories somebody can eat while preparing a meal. They're not even aware they're doing it.
well, you're tasting this and taking a snip of that, and
So clean out, get a healthy pantry, have those wonderful things around you, so when you're ready to, maybe it is a stress eating and you stop and go, well, I do need something. Maybe it's going to be an apple or an orange or some carrot or celery sticks. Go for that rather than
a Snicker
the
bar.
bad stuff. Absolutely, But stress is a real hurdle we have to get over.
Now, do you offer this advice free?
Yes, I talk to people about it all the time.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
I'm there all the time. I'm there. What
about
kind
the
of
food diary. It was in a medical situation yesterday. A lady called me, but I told her, I said, write down what you're eating, bring it to me, and I'll help to calculate what you're getting. She was worried about that she was not getting enough calories in, but that is a great way to find out what you're eating.
Yeah, but now, they've helped me with, like, the doctor told me I wasn't getting enough protein in my diet, so I went down there and they turned me on to that protein whey stuff I've used for years, and then there was the hormone. I can't sleep. I'm down there talking about my sleep issues, so I've had help with my sleep. I've had help with my hot flashes. I've had help with my blood sugar. I've had help
She's
with
a
my
mess.
I'm there all the time.
You know, she's the only one like that. There's nobody else with these problems.
No one else.
Don't believe it.
But seriously, I come in.
You just named a lot of things that are stress.
But when I after I started the vitamin regime, we talked, and I'm taking the not a hot flash.
She's not under stress, but she's probably
We
under
all
a certain
are.
level of
Everybody's
stress.
under stress to a certain extent.
If you work in a health food store day after day like we do, we're all experiencing these same issues. The stress of whatever it is, the not sleeping.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're the only one.
Yeah.
No, we hear these stories over and over. So we do try to help. We try to learn from one person and help the other. But we will tell people we're not your doctor. We turn people back to their physicians many, many times because we're there to help with those basic things. We have the things that we can give you to read. We have guides for you to go to, lots of pamphlets and information you can read, computer programs you can
Lots
look at.
of good books. You've got a nice selection of books down there.
Exactly.
Ruth Ann, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Enjoyed it very much.
You have an
I'd
open
love to come
invitation to come back and
I'd love
spew
to.
your knowledge.
Do you know
at
how
any
many
time.
topics there are out there?
I
I
know.
would love to talk
We
about.
have people emailing going, bring her back, bring her back.
Got a list this long. I'd be glad to come back
We will
anytime.
Good.
create a whole
Good.
entire series around what
Okay,
you
now
guys do.
I think maybe Linda's going to tell them what to eat. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's up.
I love
Actually,
when she tells us what to eat.
we're going to take a break from nutrition right now, and we're going to do a pet of the
Meet
week.
Sir William.
And we're going to meet Sir William, and we might ask him how he eats to make him healthy. But we appreciate
wanna
you so
know.
much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Enjoyed it
and
very
you're
much.
open to come back at any time.
I'd be
Thank
glad
you very
to.
much.
Love to.
Yeah.
Up next, we're going to do the pet of the week, and Marianne Sherman's here.
And Sir William.
I'm going to let you take this.
Of course, I always
You
do pet of the week, and people always say we love it when you interview the pets.
That's because
I
I'm out
talk
of
to
the
dogs
picture.
really well.
Stay with us. You're watching 726 right here on Hometown TV.